Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. National Racing Network proud to be the presenting partner of the TNT Shock Series, running their season finale from the Artist, formerly known as Gateway, Worldwide Technology Raceway here in Madison, Illinois, where Will Power holds the track record at 23.7206 seconds. These guys not quite that quick tonight, as best lap time here in practice goes to Brian Labarge, one of your championship contenders. 30.730 is his best lap time. Wes Shire, another championship contender, if only mathematically eligible, sitting second on the speed charts at a 30.801. James Watson, your championship leader, entering tonight's race. And it is a very slim margin over Brian Labarge. Labarge trying to work on one of the biggest comebacks in iRacing history, let alone TNT Shock Series history. As practice is just winding up here at Gateway, only 10 cars on the entry list tonight, which is going to make the championship scenarios a little bit tighter, if you will. In order for Wes Shire to win the championship, he has to win, capture the pole position, lead the most laps, have the fastest lap, and Brian Labarge can finish no better than 5th. James Watson can finish no better than 8th. If he wins and earns no bonus points, Brian can be no better than 6th, and Watson no better than 10th. As it stands right now, it is almost mathematically impossible for Wes Shire to win the championship with only 10 cars on the entry list, as we'll pick up Brian Labarge, who is out on the racing surface for his 2-lap qualification run. For Brian Labarge to win the championship, he needs to... There's several scenarios, quite frankly. But basically, if he wins and Watson finishes second, Brian Labarge will win on the tiebreaker. That's how tight the championship battle is. And a variety of scenarios from there on out. For Watson to win the championship, he just has to finish ahead of Brian Labarge. If they finish 9th and 10th tonight, that's all he needs to do to secure himself his first TNT Shock Series championship. Got to say a huge thank you to everybody that's tuning in here on YouTube tonight. We appreciate you coming to hang out with us and spend part of your Tuesday evening with us. Labarge's first lap, 31.009. Just a tick faster than Simon Fell. Lap number 2 for Labarge coming up on the board. And his 2-lap average will be 30.967 seconds. Good lap there for Brian Labarge. We'll pick up Stephen C. Thompson, who is currently working lap number 2. Off at turn number 4, he will come under the checkered flag. Lap number 2 for Thompson, 31.341. Simon Fell going to be second quick at a 31.119. 31.341 for Thompson. The AJ Camargo now moving up into position number 3. We'll pick up number 21 of Mike Long. Very quietly having a strong second half of the season. Second lap for Long is going to be in the books, and his lap time will be a 32.142, and actually does not score the qualification run. So we'll pick up Vic Aldrich, who is working his second qualification lap down over the start-finish line of the Dizzy V Designs number 98. Lap 1, 31.316, and 31.315 will be the lap time of record for Vic Aldrich, so he will be 6th quick on the board. Wes Shire sitting on pit lane. He is not moving yet. James Watson getting out onto the racing surface, your championship points leader entering tonight's race. And with just a minute and 30 seconds remaining in qualifying, Wes Shire is going to have to get moving here. We'll take a look. Yeah, he's just getting out onto the racetrack as well. So Watson on his qualification run, trying to beat an average of 30.967 seconds. We'll take a look as he comes over the line to complete lap number 1. It's going to be a 31.310. Going to have to pick it up a little bit here. 31.3 going to put him back row 2, outside of row 2, inside of row number 3 possibly. Down into the 30s though for a predicted lap for James Watson. See what he can do on this run out of turns 3 and 4. Where will Watson slot in? Oh, it is a good second lap. Watson over the line. He's going to go second quick. 31.041 seconds. Good lap there from Watson. Westshire over the start-finish line. He will complete his qualification run up into position number 5. But the championship battle is on, and it will happen from the front row. Although it looks like timing and scoring has updated a little bit on us here. Let's take a look, show you your starting grid for tonight's TNT Shock Series finale from Worldwide Technology Raceway. And the field will start with Brian Labarge in the NASA Jet Propulsion Laboratory. Team Watson Racing setups number 8 on the pole with a 2-lap average of 30.988 seconds. His outside, about a 10th back, will be the number 256 TNT Shock entry of Simon Fell. Row number 2 tonight. Team Watson Racing setups, National Racing Network. ZAS Designs, number 39 of James Watson. To his outside, the Homestead Coffee Roasters, Cat and Schaefer Oil, number 16 of New York's Westshire. Row 3 tonight, the Team Watson Racing setups, number 59 of the AJ Camargo, lining up alongside of the triple nickel of Daniel Miglin. Stephen C. Thompson in the player 1, number 24, inside of row number 4, to his outside. The Dizzy V Designs, Team Watson Racing setups, number 98 of Vic Aldridge. Final row of the grid will have the number 13 of Peter Donchak and the number 21 of Mike Long. 10 cars on the entry list, 50 minutes of racing action to come. Seeing Tommy checking in the comments saying hello. What's going on, buddy? Hope you are enjoying the show tonight. If you are, give it a like, give it a share. We appreciate all those. Pace car is in. Labarge very quickly to the loud pedal. Green flags in the air. We're underway one more time here at Gateway. Ooh, a little bit of a twitch there out of Watson exiting turn number 2. The cold tires maybe coming into play here as Simon Fell started to catch up on Brian Labarge. If this race goes green, we are hearing anywhere from 48 to 50 laps is what the drivers are going to be able to make on a fuel tank. Where that gets interesting is when you look at the number of laps they're going to run. It looks like it's going to be about 98 laps is how far they can go. You make 48, 49 laps, you're good. If you can only make it to 47 laps, you're going to have to be doing some fuel saving as Simon Fell makes the dive inside of Brian Labarge through 1 and 2. Fell has to back out ever so slightly. Watson, he doesn't know which line he wants to go to. Going to tuck up in behind Labarge as Daniel Miglin going to get a big run down the back stretch and into 3. Miglin tucks back in line. Top 5 cars separated by only about 0.4 of a second. Stephen C. Thompson setting a new fastest lap of the race, and he does that from the 7th position. Seeing Tommy saying, I usually watch GT3 racing, never really watched Indy. This race is going to settle into a rhythm, I think. The drivers are going to have to watch their fuel numbers. They're really going to have to play that pretty tight. And Brian Labarge, you may even see fall to the back. But he needs the bonus point for leading the most laps to improve his chances of winning a championship. There is so much strategy going on in this race at the moment. Westshire having to look on Watson and Simon Fell into 3. And as we mentioned, if Ryan Labarge wins this race, even if James Watson finishes 2nd, it's Ryan Labarge's championship. TNT Shock Series does award bonus points, a singular bonus point for the fastest lap of the race. That now being claimed by Westshire at a 30.923. As Simon Fell going to have the look for the lead on Brian Labarge into 3 and 4. New race leader Simon Fell. Shire able to get the look inside of Labarge as well, as Stephen C. Thompson takes back the fastest lap of the race out of position number 6. Goal number 1 right now for James Watson, keep Brian Labarge in your sights. If you can still see his race car, the plan is there. At least if you can, ideally, you would see him behind you in your mirrors and in your relative. But if he's just ahead of you, it's within reach. The way the championship points are doled out, it's a big drop-off from 1st to 2nd, a big drop-off from 2nd to 3rd, etc., until you get to about 5th to 8th place, and then it starts to level out a little bit in terms of the fall off. If Labarge finishes 2nd and James Watson finishes 4th, Ryan Labarge will be your champion. So as it stands right now, Labarge is still ahead of Watson. If Watson finishes 3rd, Labarge will need 2 bonus points. Currently has the one for leading the most laps and the one for the pole position. Seeing Isaac Mock checking in saying, let's go J-Watt. Watson getting some love from the Team Watson guys. Lap number 12 going up on the board, starting lap number 13. As Wes Shire looks inside of Brian Labarge for the race lead. He'll get the job done through 1 and 2. Stephen C. Thompson doing this the hard way. He's making that outside lane work through 3 and 4. A little bit of a bobble there for Daniel Miglin. He's going to fall back ever so slightly. We've seen him be very, very fast early on in these races. Miglin just has not developed that feel for when the tires are going to drop off. As Thompson now going to look inside of Miglin and Watson in through 3 and 4. Shire and Labarge side by side for the lead. We'll find out if anybody is watching the broadcast while they're driving, or at least listening to it here. There is a little bit of a delay, so there is no advantage to be gained from listening to the broadcast. But our math is saying about 96 laps is what we're going to go. That changes the fuel calculus ever so slightly. If you only go 96 laps, then you're going to have to go about 47 laps to be able to do this on one stop, not 48 to 50. Oh, man, things starting to get spicy here. Simon Fell shuffled out of line. Wes Shire bump drafting Brian Labarge down the front stretch. Unannounced crank it up. We don't do those too often. Watson right up behind Labarge now on the outside of the speedway through 3 and 4. This racetrack kind of Darlington-esque in terms of being egg-shaped. Turns 1 and 2 significantly narrower than turns 3 and 4. Miglin going to have the look on Shire into turn number 1. Just inside of 40 minutes remaining. First 5 minutes are down. We are clean and green to this point. Actually, excuse me, first 10 minutes in the books. Drivers working lap number 19. Track conditions about ideal for these drivers here tonight. 85-degree ambient, 87-degree track temperature. Right up the middle on the relative humidity. Not much wind. Partly cloudy skies. Beautiful night for racing here in Shire. Now going to have the peak inside of Watson. Interesting that Miglin running up behind Watson gives Watson that little bit of drafting help down the front stretch. And Shire going to go from second back to fourth, maybe fifth, as Camargo now going to have the look to the outside. Shire still stuck down on the inside. Simon Fell going to be able to have the peak to the outside. Shire, though, getting the drafting help now from Miglin through 3 and 4. He'll be able to pull right up alongside Camargo on corner exit. Just nobody giving him the help down the straightaway. Camargo able to clear and tow Simon Fell along. Drivers now about halfway through the fuel run. 24 laps completed here at Worldwide Technology Raceway. One more event coming up for us here on the National Racing Network this week. That will be Thursday night. These USF 2000 cars taking on Virginia International Raceway in our final show before the Memorial Day holiday weekend. Bizzle and Watson will be on the call for that one, as I will be down in Kannapolis, North Carolina, covering the Earnhardt Outdoor Showdown. As soon as we get link information, we will post that up. Legends cars time trialing around the streets of Kannapolis, North Carolina, in an event put on by Kerry Earnhardt. Absolutely awesome show you're going to be able to see this weekend. Shire now up on the outside behind the AJ Camargo. It's going to be Simon Fell down on the inside. Interesting, the line really moved up on corner entry. Almost like a reverse diamond. Really late entry. Hard apex down to the inside, right at the 3 and 4 kind of meeting point. And then swinging the car back to the outside wall. Do we see a move here out of Daniel Miglin, or are we in a bit of a fuel-saving mode? Watson got a good run off of 4 that time. And he's going to give LaBarge the bump draft down the straightaway. Raise the throttle ever so slightly. Interesting that Watson would not go for the lead. At this point, he knows LaBarge has led a lot of laps. Because the way they are right now does not win James Watson a championship. Although there is also no real sense in racing real hard with 34 and change minutes left. We're still about 10 minutes away from the halfway point. Oh, Stephen C. Thompson makes a big move inside. Oh, may have clipped the grass on entry into 3. Thompson slides way up to the wall exiting 4. Almost a big mess there for Stephen C. Thompson. Everybody's behaving right now. The question becomes, when do we see that stop? Let us know in the comments. What do you think? Do we see anybody do something crazy before the pit stops? go on board here with James Watson. We'll fire up the Exorcist cam. You can hear him shifting a little bit twitchy there out of LaBarge. Exiting turn 4 that time. Watson breathing the throttle to corner entry into 1. Almost hear the car bottoming out. LaBarge really slides wide. Up to the outside retaining wall. There's Wes Shire now right back behind. Your 3 championship contenders are 1, 2, 3. You can see Miglin catch up real quick. Oh, Shire had to back out of the throttle that time. It opens the door for Miglin. Oh, Shire almost up into the wall as well. A little twitch that time from Watson. You can hear Watson backing off. He does not want to get up underneath of Brian LaBarge just yet. Almost like he's just trying to exert as much pressure as he possibly can. Miglin now going to have the dive on Shire as Peter Donchak sets a new fastest lap of the race. He's the car that is last in line there in the 10th position, about 2 seconds back of the race leaders. But the way everybody's gapped out, Donchak's going to get the biggest effect of the draft, and he steals away the fastest lap of the race with a 30.800. 36 laps on the board now in a race that has gone clean and green from the start. Some early side-by-side racing has settled in. Brian LaBarge opening up the gap. It's about a quarter of a second. And of note, drivers must enter pit lane basically at the entrance to turn number 3. This race will be won and lost on the in-lap and the out-lap for these drivers if they have to make a green flag pit stop. You'll see it here as the camera pans down to the left. There's the entry to pit lane, right at the entrance to turn number 3. Drivers have to run that access lane all the way through 3 and 4, and it's going to be who's gutsy enough to take that at big speed. Because then you exit pit lane, and you're going to have to do the same thing, this time probably on cold tires. No real incentive not to take fresh Cooper rubber, as the drivers are going to be stationary for about 7 seconds or so. And there is not a lot of fuel saving going on. Brian LaBarge's best lap, 31.140. Well, actually, just reset it, 31.104. His 5-lap average, 31.147. The 15-lap average is a 156. These guys are absolutely full tilt right now. Probably knowing running 30-second laps or so, they're going to get to 46 laps, maybe 47 laps when they get to the halfway point. So it should be a one-stop race. if somebody dives for pit lane before that remaining clock gets down to 25 minutes, they're going to have to do some fuel saving here in the second half. Again, Watson just right up underneath the attenuator of Labarge. You almost wonder if the driver behind changes your calculus at all on how you run. Daniel Miglin, newer to the series, not as familiar to these drivers. James Watson and Wes Shire have tens of thousands of laps in this car on ovals, running against each other. They know pretty well when the other is going to do something risky and when they're not. Daniel Miglin, they are far less familiar with. And we're going to continue to focus on the lead battle because there's all 10 cars right in the shot. They are nose to tail, separated by only about 2.3 seconds from first to last. Miglin and Shire were side by side as we are now down to that 25-minute mark and 46 laps on these fuel tanks. Nobody coming to pit lane this time. So these drivers will be good to make this a one-stop race. And of note, there is live race control. Em McCullen handling the race control duties. So a single car spin that may have triggered an automatic iRacing caution will not do that here tonight. As Shire going to come around now, Labarge after passing James Watson one lap ago. Shire's down to the inside. He wants a piece of the race lead. And the first of our leaders is on pit road. It's going to be Brian Labarge. Follow the stop for Brian Labarge at pace lap, pit road speed, I should say. Labarge hits his box. And you can see the time on pit lane up over 30 seconds. In fact, Brian Labarge will go one lap down. And that 32 seconds doesn't even include your time on and off of pit lane. Here's where this is huge. For West Shire, James Watson, everybody else that is able to go more laps than Brian Labarge. It's less time you need to be stationary taking fuel. 7.4 seconds the time of the stop for Brian Labarge. And now it looks like here comes James Watson. Watson down to pit road speed. The question will become, where do Watson and Miglin re-enter the racetrack in relation to Brian Labarge? It was 7.4 seconds in the box for Labarge, 32.6 for the time on pit lane. Watson hits the marks, down and away, 7.3 seconds. Oh, and Miglin thought about racing him off of pit lane. New fastest lap, it's going to belong to Vic Aldrich. And Watson's ahead of Labarge. Watson about half a straightaway ahead of Brian Labarge as the AJ Camargo Simon Bell on pit lane. West Shire in the pits now. But James Watson is the effective leader in this race. There you see Shire making his way out of pit lane. And Shire is out well ahead of Watson. All of these drivers that were able to make the fuel last longer, spending less time on pit lane. Mike Long has not stopped yet. 55 laps the stint for Mike Long. The AJ Camargo re-entering the racetrack just ahead of James Watson. He's going to be on cold tires. Watson able to clear before they get to turn number 3. As Mike Long now going to hit pit lane. So every driver will have completed their stops now. And it's going to be West Shire at the head of the field. Stephen C. Thompson coming out just ahead of Watson. Watson able to clear through 3 and 4. Camargo on the outside. He is not able to clear Thompson. So following the cycle of pit stops, West Shire is your race leader by 1.2 seconds. James Watson runs second. And it is about dogfight territory behind him. Watson, Camargo, Thompson, Miglin, Labarge, all close. But Brian Labarge has 19 minutes and 40 seconds to make up a ton. Labarge is sitting right about 1 second back of James Watson. With the cars in between, the draft will get him caught up. Watson is also catching Shire. What was a 1.2 second gap now fluttering between 8 and 9 tenths. This is going to get intense. I want to say in about the next 12 minutes or so, there's 18:30 left, 18:30 and change remaining in the TNT Shock Series 7, Season 7, I should say. Watson able to open up the gap on Camargo ever so slightly. It's up to 4/10. The gap to the race leader is down to a half second. Thompson looking inside of Camargo for third. Thompson back into line, but behind Brian Labarge is Daniel Miglin. Now going to make the move into turn one. He'll get the pass cleared, and Watson's there for the lead. Watson and Shire drag race down the backstretch to 3. Seeing the comment from Isaac Mock as they're 3 wide into turn 1. Miglin gonna slide up the racetrack. Blue light special lighted up, baby. 2 for 1. Miglin on both Shire and Camargo. And Labarge is right in the middle of that fight. I was off by about 11 minutes when I said it was gonna start getting spicy. Labarge able to clear Shire. That's going to put him up into the 4th position. But right now, the positioning is semi-irrelevant as Watson is ahead of Labarge. Oh, man, that was almost big. Camargo almost into the back end of Miglin through 3 and 4. That opens the door for Labarge to make the run down the front stretch. Stephen C. Thompson making the big pull out off of 2 that time. He's going to gain a bunch of ground. Have the look inside of Shire through 3 and 4 as Labarge and Camargo also run side by side. The tiniest little things that you think about when who you're racing against and how. The AJ Camargo is in Brazil. The rest of this field is very much not. There will be some latency in the data that gets transmitted back and forth to iRacing. That's what netcode comes from, is drivers being separated around the world, and those milliseconds of difference in data transfer times, that's what causes netcode. If you're Brian Labarge, you're kind of like, I don't want to be anywhere near you. Not because I don't like you. I just don't trust Brazilian internet. Man, and Miglin really starting to hassle Watson as we are down inside of 15 minutes to go. 35 and change already completed. And West Shire is not out of this championship yet, with both Watson and Labarge and everybody else still in this race. There are still scenarios that West Shire is mathematically alive to win the championship. Albeit, that ends up in absolute carnage here at the front of the field. It's Labarge got to have the peak on Camargo this time to turn 1. Miglin looks inside. Oh, but now Miglin may get caught out here with Camargo and Labarge, but now Labarge inside. He gets Camargo. Now he's going to make the run on Miglin. It's a Delaware double file here at Gateway. Watson, your race leader, choosing his own lane. LaBarge and Miglin almost come together. Nothing to note yet from race director Em McCullen. And Stephen C. Thompson has now fallen back to the 8th position. LaBarge is up to 2nd, trying to get Miglin on the outside. Oh man, and nowhere for LaBarge to go to try the crossover on Watson. And Miglin's gonna slide. What a save, Daniel Miglin. Here comes LaBarge looking inside of Watson for the lead. That time by it was James Watson at the line. Oh, there's almost contact. Oh, that was tight. Wow. Miglin has fallen all the way back to 8th. As your race leaders are battling tooth and nail. Oh, LaBarge slides up ever so slightly again in 1 and 2. Now Camargo gonna have a look on LaBarge. The AJ Camargo passing Brian LaBarge. Watson drops down to block the line off. Then he's quickly to the top side again. Watson doing his best to work the draft. Don't give anybody the line. The smart play there. Stay to the outside at the exit of turn 4 and the exit of turn 2. Leaves Brian LaBarge nowhere to go. Oh, there's contact. LaBarge goes around. Brian LaBarge, Stephen C. Thompson hard into the wall. Caution flag is out with 9 minutes and 50 seconds remaining. And it looks like LaBarge will have to tow. Take a look at the replay. This will decide the championship. Oh, Wes Shire big into the outside wall too. Go back to the live look here and we'll pull this one up from the overhead. The AJ Camargo having the look inside of Brian LaBarge, and that was it. That was the net code that we talked about. No actual contact between those race cars. And it ends with Brian LaBarge parked on pit lane as James Watson will circulate around. Wes Shire, Peter Donchak, both able to drive their cars back to the pits. There's the official word from race control. No action taken. Netcode. What a way for this championship battle to end. Let's see if we can get a quick word in here with Brian Labarge. Brian, tough deal. It looks like we saw it as netcode. The same message just came through from race control, but an unfortunate way to see your championship battle end. Heartbreaking. Tell us what you're feeling right now.
Honestly, I'm not upset. Like, I got to a point where, you know, I was up here at the top. That's all that matters. And I'll take it. You know, it'll sink in a little bit, but yeah. Eventually, yeah.
Talk to us a little bit about the racing here as we're down to 1 to go, because it seems like passing, especially at the front, is at a premium. And quite frankly, as the tires wear off, these things are going to get just worse and worse handling.
Yeah, it definitely is. Very, very difficult at the front, so you had to basically pull off everything you had to go through and just keep it going and hope that everything worked out. But yeah, I had the pace to do it too, so oh well.
Well, tough break for you, Brian. Congratulations either way on a great season, and thank you very much for giving us a moment here for the interview as we get ready to go back to green flag racing with 6 minutes and 15 seconds to go. Pace car is in. Watson going to bring the field down very slowly into the restart zone. He grabs the gear, and away we go. Great start over in the AJ Camargo and Daniel Miglin. Watson will lead the train to turn number 1. And with Brian Labarge being out of this race, that means James Watson and Stephen C. Thompson, that's the important one. James Watson will be your TNT Shock Series Season 7 champion. That is going to be one very excited young man we're going to talk to in a little bit here, but still got 5.5 minutes left to go as Miglin almost getting up into Camargo, exiting turn number 2. Now for Watson, just 5 minutes remain on the clock. Miglin backs off of the attenuator of the AJ Camargo as they got to turn number 1 that time. Simon Fell runs runs 4th. Vic Aldrich running in the 5th position as here comes Camargo looking inside of Watson into 3 and 4. Watson leaves the very wide berth for the AJ Camargo, and he's going to get a great run down the straightaway, though. Oh, Camargo slid up ever so slightly at the entrance to 1 and 2. Miglin with a big slide in the middle of 2 as well. Watson looking back to the lead. And of note, Watson cannot claim the bonus point for most laps led. That will go to Brian Labarge tonight, leading 45 laps. Your fastest lap of the race belongs to Vic Aldrich at a 30.7 second lap. Miglin now going to have the look inside of Camargo towards 3. Watson going to keep running. Oh, Miglin clipped the apron. He slides up. Camargo going to be able to hold on to the spot. Another nice save from Daniel Miglin.
Coming right back on the charge, though.
Yeah. Oh, look at it. Brian Labarge is back in the booth with us. Did I not drag you back
Why
now?
not?
Oh, okay, cool.
Oh no, you did. You did.
I
But
was
you know
gonna
what?
say, am I that
Your
bad at
job
my
was
job?
getting a little hard. No, not at all.
So we're down to 3 minutes remaining. Miglin having to look inside of Watson. What do you do here if you're James? I mean, you know you're going to win the championship at this point. You want the win, but is it worth fighting that tooth and nail for and wadding the race car up? I would guess so, based on how he's driving. But
I mean, yeah. I mean, if you want to go out in a blaze of glory, then absolutely. But I mean, at this point, you know, he's got the talent to do it if he wants to. Yeah. Wouldn't be the play I'd go for, but...
Well, this is definitely starting to feel like a race that could end with a drag race to the line here, because the outside lane is a little, I guess, a tick slower, but you keep the momentum up. The inside lane, a hair faster. Do you think that's what we're looking at here?
Well, in the official race that we did back in season 4 of last year, the top 3 were separated by 57 thousandths of a second, because it was a one-lap drag race around the entire circuit. So it is certainly doable, and it's all a matter about how you choose your line through 1 and 2.
Well, we'll have to see if these guys can beat the Silver Crowns on Monday night. 2 1,000ths of a second was the margin of victory for Thomas Lewandowski over Brandon Buchberger. We may be shaping up for that here as we're down to 1 minute and 20 seconds. About 3 laps to go is what the lap counter is telling us here as the AJ Camargo grabs the race lead. But now Watson almost looks like he kind of backed off a little bit to set up the run. And that's what we're going to see here into 3.
Yep. And you probably, also part of the time where you may want to be starting to think about, okay, well, when 1 to go is coming by, do I want to be leading going into that that final lap?
It's a great point, as Watson just absolutely slammed the door on Daniel Miglin entering turn 1 that time. And it looks like I think we're going to be down to 1 lap to go here at the start-finish line as it's 27 seconds remaining. And Watson's throwing slide jobs on Camargo. This is it. White flag is out. 1 lap to go here at Gateway. Watson on the outside. Camargo on the inside. The AJ tucks back in line. He's going to have 1 more shot at Watson through 3 and 4. Oh, Watson does a nice job covering the line. He slides high off of 4, though. It's going to be a drag race to the line. Who's it going to be? It's James Watson by 56 thousandths of a second. I'm sorry. Whoa, hold up. 1/1000th. It's 56 to Daniel Miglin in 3rd.
Wow, that was amazing. Congratulations, James Watson.
Oh my goodness.
That is how you finish a season.
Yeah. That's kind of putting it mildly there. James Watson by 1/1000th of a second over AJ Camargo. Holy cow.
And he did not lead that lap, the lap going into it. So he came from behind on that first corner. So he knew exactly what he was doing. And I was going to kind of make mention, I was thinking about it, that when you were asking about whether or not he takes it easy, it's really hard to switch off from full-on tense engagement mode to just backing off a little bit. Like, that's a huge mental change. So I'm actually not even remotely surprised now that I think about it, that he just kept going with it. So again, congratulations to James and everybody else who raced out there. Good job. Lots of victory laps going on here, guys.
Yeah. Daniel Miglin coming home third. Simon Fell, Vic Aldrich, your top five. 6 through 10, Peter Donchak, Westshire, Mike Long, Brian Labarge, and Stephen C. Thompson going out of that race 15 laps, or in the incident, with about 15 laps to go. Wow. Just wow.
Yeah. Now, can you imagine if we still had 2 additional cars in there, all going for it? Because everyone got, there was a pack there for a while that, we could have had the entire field covered by less than a second on that final lap. Can you imagine what that would have been like?
Yeah, that abject insanity is what that would be. But let's bring in Daniel Miglin here. We'll start our Victory Lane interviews with our third place finisher here tonight. And Daniel, your car looked really good. It showed a lot of pace. Interesting to watch you go kind of front to back a little bit. Was that some tire management trying to cool them off, or what was kind of the story there?
Oh, no, I almost died, man. I was fighting really hard to stay in front of Brian to keep in the podium positions right after the second set of pit stops. But when these cars run that close together, you lose all the air on the outside of your spoiler. And I just started to spin. Luckily saved it. Luckily stayed in the draft. And just kind of kept it rolling.
Yeah, and ultimately it was one of those races where I don't know if third was where you wanted to be on the white flag lap anyway with how difficult passing was, but how aggressive do you feel like you have to be the later that race goes?
It gets so difficult with the tire wear to hold the bottom. In retrospect, I really regret not grabbing a free set of tires during the caution period, but I didn't know that I was going to almost spin and fall to the back anyway. I was trying to keep track position and then couldn't anyway. But yeah, you got to really, really send it. And more often than not, it doesn't work out for either driver if you do. So I was just trying to get a run and then maybe get on the outside. But with it being 3 wide, all I could do was bump James at the line for 4X.
Well, it was an incredible show you guys put on tonight, and congratulations on the podium here, Daniel. Before we let you go, though, get any of those sponsor plugs or shout-outs that you would like to get in here.
Shout out to myself, your next season champion. Consider this a preview. Running every race next season. Look out.
All right, buddy. Well, we'll take it. We'll see if Nostradamus has that in the cards for you. But Daniel Miglin, congratulations on your third place finish tonight. And now we get to AJ Camargo. I don't know if you can be totally upset, but 1/1000th of a second. I don't even know how you measure that.
Yeah, that was incredible, man. It was an amazing finish. I was pushing to the end. I thought I had it till I saw the scoreboard.
Yeah, and I have to ask you this question because the contact with Brian was absolutely 100% net code. Knowing that you're in Brazil and basically everybody else is domestic, does that have to change how you run the races at all, or is it kind of just everybody's got to deal with the same thing and you just go and send it?
Nah, from Brazil, you have one superpower. You are born into the lag, so you are used to it. You kind of have to predict some of it. But even though I'm really sorry for Brian. It sucks because especially in iRacing, you can't predict very well. It just happens sometimes. It's just crazy.
Yeah, that was it. It was like we said, there was no contact there that we saw, and race control said the same thing. But, man, a great run for you tonight, picking up 4 laps led. The car was good, and make sure you give us all these sponsor plugs and shout-outs here before we let you go.
Yep. Thanks for the guys at TWR. They're always amazing and helping me a lot. And, of course, for you guys in the booth doing the show and all the TNT Shock. They are great, man. It's just that, man.
All right, buddy. Well, thank you much. We appreciate you coming to hang out with us. And now we're going to bring in, for the first time, officially saying this one, James Watson.
Congratulations.
Your 2024 TNT Shock Series champion. James, congratulations. A great season, but I have to ask you first about that last lap. Abject insanity. You get the AJ by 1,000th and Daniel by 56. How intense was that for you behind the wheel?
It was really intense. That's the fun thing about Gateway is it's always intense here. This place never fails to put on a show. So I was just trying to, like I know Dan and Naiji, they're super quick and they were super tonight. So I was just hoping to lean on a little bit of my experience there, and kind of setting up how that last lap would go. And thankfully, everything kind of worked to perfection right there. I got a little bump from behind too from Dan, which kind of put me over for good measure.
Well, and then now we get to have the fun conversation. Winning your first TNT Shock Series championship. You and I talked last week after the race, and almost a little bit down sounding you were. What is the emotion that you're feeling right now? Because you have been chasing this for 7 years now.
I don't really know how to describe it. A lot of it is just boiled down to relief. Like the journey of trying to fight for a championship in something you care about so much. It's just such an exhausting journey. It takes so many turns, week in and week out, and trying to fight through those twists and turns. It takes a lot out of you, and then the crushing feeling of defeat, and then knowing you have to go through it all again, and you don't know if you're going to get as close. Like, that was what hurt the most last season. Was I don't necessarily have the pure pace that a lot of the guys in this series do. So I had never even been that much of a championship competitor before. I never even led like more than the one time I won the season opener a couple of seasons ago. So, I wasn't sure if I'd be able to have another opportunity. I didn't know if that was my last chance. And, going into this season, this is the most work I've put in any of the races I do. Just nonstop effort and testing, just trying to bring it home because I just really wanted it. Anyone who knows me, like, like, this is something I've wanted so hard for so long. And any bad break that happened, I never handled it the best, that handled it like I should, and a lot of those close to me had to deal with a lot of neurotic and painful messages, and then my poor parents having to deal with my never-ending psychosis after every race and trying to put me back together through every inevitable breakdown. I'm happy to bring this home for everyone involved, not just, so they wouldn't have to put up with me losing again, being sad again, and having to go through why can't I ever catch a break again, and just the amount of time everyone puts into, trying to help me out, whether it's testing on track, whether it's sending good messages or giving me hugs and trying to make sure that I can actually get into some sort of mental capacity where I can get out there and turn the wheel. Like everyone just does so much to help me get to this point and to be able to reward their time, their sacrifice, their belief with that. It means so much, and like it's been a rough couple weeks in the Watson family. You know, my uncle just passed away a couple weeks ago, so it's nice to be able to give that for my family. You know, give that to Dad. You know, it's been rough on him. You know, when he's been putting on he's been putting on a strong face, you know, and still being there for me with all my everything that comes with this championship battle. So I'm just thankful for everyone with me.
Well, James, congratulations on a very hard-earned championship. Go enjoy this one. Take the rest of the week off. Don't touch the sim. Just go on a bender or something. I don't know if you can pull up my screen share or not, but here's the margin of victory at the line tonight. Courtesy of Vic Aldrich getting this photo posted. Shades.
Oh my God.
That was it.
My God.
Maybe
It's funny you say that because I have another race in an hour, and I'm one race away from making the playoffs. So, yeah, the stress never ends. But at least the big thing, the big thing. Everything else is like, okay, whatever. I'm probably gonna, you know, in an hour and a half, probably regret saying this now, but whatever happens now, I don't care. Who cares? The big thing, that's the best thing too, is that now I don't really get bothered with chuck races anymore. Like, I don't have to worry about it. Like, I got my championship. I'm good. Never win another championship. You know what? I'm good. I'm content. All I wanted was one. We got that. Whatever happens, happens. If I win more, awesome. Sweet. But, like, all I wanted was that one. And, you know, mission accomplished. That's all I can ask.
Well, James, congratulations on it. And do all those sponsor plugs and shout-outs here before we have to let you out of here.
Yes, sir. I got to thank everyone at Team Watson Racing Setups for sticking with me. Use code WATSPIN39 for 10% off at checkout. I got to thank Martin Sports Sim Racing Apparel, Boomer Button Boxes, you and everyone else at the National Racing Network, and my folks, as always, for and all my friends, too, that are outside of TNT that have to deal with my my post-race thought session. Thank you, guys.
All right, James. Well, congratulations on it once again here. And, man alive, what a show we got tonight. We're going to bring that photo back up here, Brian, because by my math, an inch, maybe 2,
Yeah.
is what separated these two at the line. Absolutely phenomenal.
It really is. I mean, you can't ask for a better way to close out a season than that. I mean, that was everything you could possibly hope for.
Yes, it was a fantastic show all the way around from all the guys in the TNT Shock Series. Just a ton of fun, man. Love getting to hang out with them and call these races on a pretty much weekly basis. Looking forward to doing more of that here in the next couple of weeks. But, well, I guess we're going to take a couple of weeks off. We'll see. We're debating the schedule and all that kind of stuff now for next season. But a lot of racing action coming up still here on the National Racing Network. USF Pro Championships on Thursday night. That'll be the Watson and Bizzle show coming to you from Virginia International Raceway. And then next week, we're going to crown 3 more champions. The Silver Crowns end their 2024 Season 2 at the Lady in Black Darlington Raceway down there in South Carolina. That race will air 9 8:45 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time. Follow it up on Tuesday night. The Sprint Car Cup crowns its champion at the Milwaukee Mile, 9 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time on that one. And then Thursday night, the USF Pro Championships will see their season conclude with a visit to the New Hampshire Motor Speedway Roval. Great road course for these PM18 cars. But thank you all very much for tuning in for an entire season of TNT Shock Series Racing. What a phenomenal show we got out of these guys tonight. And we really can't thank you enough for coming to hang out with us. But with that, time for us to get the heck on out of here. For Brian LaBarge, Bizzle doing whatever debauchery he's doing tonight, James Watson, everybody else here at the National Racing Network that gets these shows on the air. My name is Chris Graham. Thank you so much for coming to hang out with us, and we will talk to you all soon. Have a great night, everybody.